will come here.
Drew.
What's up, Drew?
Hello everybody, my name is Drew. I come from Canada. I lived in Toronto. I grew up in Toronto for my whole life, but after university, I studied communication, I studied public speaking. I decided to move across the country, so I drove my car and I moved to Vancouver, which is the west coast of Canada. When I was in Vancouver, there's a very, very, very large Asian community in Vancouver. And this was 4 years ago. I met many people from Japan, China, South Korea, and even Taiwan. And that's what really inspired me to come and move to the other side of the world and to teach English. And through that process, while I was living in Vancouver, I discovered my passion for music. So I am a musician, photography, and of course for teaching as well, which is something that's relatively new to me in the past couple of years. But previously, I used to work at companies like Apple and software companies where I'd be teaching people how to use computers and how to use technology. So ensuring that everybody understands what I talk about is a big passion of mine, and I couldn't be more excited to be here and be part of the team exploring this with the children. So as mentioned, yeah, my name is Drew Joseph Cicera. Cicera is an Italian last name. I have a mixed background, and English was not my first language growing up. Unfortunately, I cannot speak any other language now, but growing up, my dad did speak some Italian. My mom is half Hungarian, half African from Kenya. So Italian, African, Hungarian, and Canadian are all my backgrounds. It becomes a little bit confusing, but English is my primary language and something I speak pretty fluent at. I'd like to ask the children in the class if they are able to find me, because I was 8 years old in this picture. It's kind of blurry because the technology was not that good back then, but at this time in my life, this was almost going into elementary school. Can anybody find me in the picture? Put your hand up if you yes. Where am I? Where? You want to come show me? Yeah, come show me. Which one? Wow, high five. Good job, yes, that's me. I was the smallest and the shortest one in class at this time, but just to give you an example and why I love working with children, I completely understand where they're coming from in the classroom experience. And these were all of my friends at this time, so it feels like a long time ago, but again, I couldn't be more excited to be part of the children's journey learning English here. As I was growing up, this is my family. So as you can see, this is me. I have 3 sisters, no brothers, so it was very, very hard growing up with all girls. This is me. I have my younger sister. Her name is Jillian. I have my older sister. Her name is Haley. And at this time, I didn't have my newest sister. Her name is Audrey. She came a few years later. This is my mom and my father. And this was taken in Mexico, actually. So every few years, we would travel around the world somewhere new, experiencing new culture. Growing up, this is now my family. This was 4 years ago after I graduated university. My older sister Haley, Jillian, Audrey, my mom, and of course, my dad as well. So after I mentioned I went to Vancouver, I discovered I have a passion for singing and playing instruments, and I love to find ways to integrate music into the classroom experience as well. I always have my harmonica with me, and I usually travel on weekends to Taipei, Kaohsiung, whenever, obviously when it's safe to do so. And I usually play live performances. And when I return back to the classrooms to teach English, I usually share some crazy story or some adventure I had on the weekend, and I relate it back to the English material of that unit, or of that lesson. I brought a sample of the music if anybody wants to hear it. Yes? Put your hand up. Come on, yes, I know you want to hear it. Okay, I think I just have to press this. Or maybe I have to press down here. Very, very small sample. Music's playing through my computer. Okay, tell you what, I will play it for you in class. Okay? I'll make sure I play it in class for you. This is, of course, more videos of me playing piano and playing harmonica. Instead of me showing you this live video, though, I'll make sure I play some harmonica for you before you leave, so you'll be able to hear it as well. After that, I discovered I have a passion for teaching. This is one of the relatively newer photos of me here in Taiwan teaching English. I taught a winter camp just a few months ago where we discovered all the different types of fish that live under the ocean. I involved videos, I involved music, I involved pictures into my lesson, and of course I designed workbooks as well to have the children interact with the material they were learning. I'd like to say that the children enjoyed my work, so I was quite excited to see that they were happy to work with me. As I mentioned, I have a photography business actually. I run my own photography business. I sell prints that are taken of my photography. But unlike most photographers, all of my work is shot on my iPhone. So I run my own business. I print photos directly from my iPhone as well, and I sell them around the world. Here's some examples of some of the work I've taken so far being here in Taiwan on my weekend journeys. This one was just taken the other day. This one is in Taipei. Jolfin, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is my cat back in Canada. This is in Vancouver. This one was in Hong Kong when I traveled to Hong Kong a few years ago. This is in Canada as well. And these are some of my customers. So as I take pictures on the weekends and travel around, I have a showcase every year or two where I have people purchase my pictures. This was a model I took photos for with my iPhone, and she ended up purchasing one of them and putting it on her wall and everything as well. So it was a pretty exciting experience. But that brings me to teaching English and why I think learning English is very important. But to start with that, I would actually say I'm quite envious of the people I meet here in Taiwan. I think Chinese is an incredibly beautiful, sophisticated, and unique language. And at any opportunity I have while I'm here, I'm usually engaging with people, or at least trying to listen to people who are speaking Chinese, because it really does change the way you think with the symbols, and it's definitely more picture-based, and I'm quite envious of that. But, and unfortunately, I would say, English is the language of the world, and I understand the importance of learning it. So, learning English and having the diligence and the interest to learn English is going to what drives children to want to learn it best. And while I'm involved with children in the classroom, and I'm sharing stories of the great opportunities I've had to travel the world and to speak English with new people, I hope it inspires them and teaches them to want to learn English as much as me. Because on a wide scale, 80% of the world speaks English. And looking at this picture here, Taiwan is this cute little beautiful bubble in the corner. So as I'm going through the classroom experience and teaching with children, I'll make sure that they understand the importance of it, so that they can live a life in the future as well, being able to open up the boundaries of the world and travel and do the experiences I'm happy to be saying I'm doing right now in the world. Does anybody have any questions for me about my teaching experience, about my teaching capabilities, anything I can answer right now before I go into a quick lesson with the students?
I think you speak very clearly. Anybody, 任何问题 any questions? 小朋友有没有什么问题想问老师？要不然他待会专在这里做一个活动呢？没有。
Sure, we're okay to keep going? Okay. Then what we are going to do is I'm going to